Something else now onto the Big Bash League, which is currently underway in Australia. Pakistan, which has been banned from the IPL and does not feature in many associate T20 tournaments, took it as a major boost when 6 of their players were picked for the tournament. Currently, 5 Pakistani players are playing the BBL. Babar Azam, who is playing for Sydney Sixers, Mohammad Rizwan, who is playing for the Melbourne Renegades, Shadab Khan, who is in fact playing for the Sydney Thunder, Haris Rauf for the Melbourne Stars, and Hassan Ali for the Adelaide Strikes. But what Pakistan hype is hardly backed up by its players, as we have seen recently, because it has mostly been blunders followed by high-level humiliation. For example, it all started with the star player Babar Azam put to field on the mid-on when David Warner hit one straight past the bowler. It was expected that Babar Azam would comfortably stop the ball. Well, he's a batsman, he's got great reflexes, but he clearly did not even make an effort to stop it, leaving an animated Stephen Smith shocked. The commentators too made complete mockery of this incident. Minutes later, Steve Smith was having none of it as he made a miraculous dive to stop the ball and then clearly shoved away Babar Azam. The commentators too mocked Babar by screaming, "Get out of the way, Babar Azam." This, by the way, is Pakistan's biggest cricket star that we are talking about. The humiliation continued when Babar was batting with Steve Smith. Frustrated due to his slow run rate, Steve Smith this time refused a single on the last ball of the over because Babar Azam was not taking any singles, leaving Babar frustrated. Babar drove the ball to long on for a single, but Smith surprisingly denied the run. He refused to run. The Australian player then explained to Babar at the end of the over that he was about to take the power surge, a 2-over period during which the fielding team is allowed to have only 2 players outside the circle. What followed was absolute carnage from Smith as he went on to smash 4 consecutive sixes, followed by a 4 off Ryan Hadley. The over yielded the Sydney Sixers 32 runs, and the highest in BBL history, that is. On the first ball of the very next over, Babar chopped Nathan McAndrew's delivery onto his stumps. His frustration was quite visible after the dismissal as the batter smashed his bat on the boundary cushion while he was returning to the pavilion. Well, Steve Smith was named player of the match, and this was Babar Azam. The embarrassment continued for Babar's opening partner and former Pakistan captain Mohammad Rizwan, who was forced to retire during Melbourne Renegades' Big Bash League match against the Sydney Thunder. The incident occurred after the final ball of the 18th over, with Rizwan batting on 26 of 23 balls. Renegades captain Will Sutherland signalled Rizwan to make the long walk back before replacing himself in the middle. Then came Haris Rauf, who was sent packing by Bumrah. Haris Rauf violently pushed New Zealand batter Finn Allen. Rauf, who had just finished his over, was walking towards the umpire to get his jersey back. As both players crossed paths, Rauf gave the New Zealand star a strong shove on the shoulder. This was supposed to be a joke. Well, let's talk about the embarrassment that continues for Pakistani players. Sunil, Pakistan is obviously out of the IPL. You know, it was a good revenue stream for a number of these players. Who are very talented, depending on their mood. But that's not how you play cricket, right? You have to be in a good mood to play cricket. You have to be in a bad mood to play good cricket as well. What do you think is happening over here? Do you think Pakistanis have been out long enough from this kind of an entertainment bashful league that it was, very difficult for them to comprehend what was going on, especially in a guy, with a guy like Stephen Smith who thinks on his toes?
Well, absolutely. When you look at it, there are 2-3 things that we can talk about. Pakistan cricket doesn't have Waqar Wasim kind of bowlers. They don't have batters at the top of the order. In fact, Babar Azam, for all his greatness and everything, is called Babar Azam. Why? Because he only scores against the minnows, Nepal, Zimbabwe, Bangladesh. And that is what has come down to. Sad but true. In fact, the PSL players in the last 10 years have the performance has come down, the batting average has come down. In fact, if you look at the talent that they produce with the spinners is also out. In fact, they go into the matches without a proper spinner. I mean, 5 openers and no spinners at all, and they do with the makeshift thing. They don't have seam, they don't have swing. What do they have? They have a lot of social media following, especially when it comes to these 2 players. And that's why somewhere down the line, you've seen the Pakistan and the India-Pakistan rivalry, which we've seen at the back of this Dubai stadium has come down so drastically. The ticket prices has come down. The broadcast fee has come down. And there are no independent matches. Nobody wants to play them. In fact, they are called the fillers in the world cricket. Over to you, Vineet.
Taus, it's obviously a temperament thingy as well. Stephen Smith was upset with the Babar because he refused to rotate strike and he was not scoring. His strike rate was also pretty much resembling how he plays a test match.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? I saw a tweet where somebody said that if Virat Kohli was there in Babar's place, even Steve Smith's father would have to take that run. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So that was in something in a different way, in a funny way, because that kind of power Virat Kohli holds. But yeah, Babar Azam is. I mean, obviously these guys are struggling mentally more than cricketing wise, because they haven't got the kind of exposure, or maybe they are not getting the wanted to deliver. I mean, look at the Asia Cup, how they were struggling against Team India. I mean, their superstars were Shahid Afridi, the biggest T20 player. Shoaib Malik used to play. He was one of the stars. Wasim Akram and Waqar Yunus, Sunil Bhai has said. I mean, so they have had some of those, glorious past when it comes to big hitting or, mercurial cricketing performances or performers or rather cricketers. But yeah, Babar Azam is somebody who's not a typical T20. In fact, he's been mocked in his own league, PSL. Even if he scores 100, he scores at run a ball, which is not required. Rizwan, there are many technical issues. They are lucky that they are getting opportunities to play in big bash or rather Australian cricket. Otherwise, it's very, very competitive. They are tough guys and it's not easy to play. But I'm not concerned about what Babar is doing, what Rizwan is doing. I'm concerned about what India is doing right now against New Zealand. So yeah, we are on the back foot. New Zealand has scored 300 plus runs. So somewhere or the other, I don't care what Babar does there, or they make mockery of themselves. It's funny. It's good to watch them. There is some humor in cricket. They provide that kind of humor. But yeah, I'm more concerned about India. And this is more important match to bounce back against New Zealand. Otherwise, I mean, after 17 months, you're going to, or maybe 16 months, you're going to witness an ODI for India and Virat Kohli till the IPL after this particular game. So Babar and Rizwan, I don't care what they do.
Well, Mohammad, Rizwan, Shaheen Afridi, Sunil, they're obviously contributors to the Pakistani cricket scenario, but they haven't done anything worthwhile for their respective teams, including Shaheen Afridi in his last outing as well. Rizwan perhaps is more popular for the style in which he speaks English and his memes on social media channels than he is for his cricket. Why is the BBL still entertaining them?
Well, you could realize that they are not playing at the top of the league. In fact, it is the players' unavailability, the top players. You must realize technically there's also another league that is happening, which is the SA20. SA20 has some of the best players. In fact, the T20 stars are there. I just attended a presser with the Afghanistan team, the West Indies team. And if you see that place, you've got the stars slowly coming down from the SA20 to the national duties. BBL, because they need stars, they need players, they need whoever to fill that particular seat. It's like what you have in the Uber. One is the surge and second is the highway discount. And I think these guys come in at a far cheaper price and they're always available for international leagues elsewhere. In fact, if I were to take a step back and tell you, the Legends team, which is the team that played the 2011 World Cup, are much more in demand as you compare to the team of the Babar Azam and the Rizwan and the Shaheen Afridi. In fact, they still hold that ground. They still are loved. The legend players of the 2011, Waqar, Wasim, they're all loved here. But unfortunately, globally, these players are like, a photocopy of what the great Pakistan team used to be, especially when they played against India. Second point is, they're not playing against India, so they don't have a tale. They don't have an epic story to sell to the world that they are the greatest team or they're the greatest bowlers, greatest talent. No, the days are gone. Because you're not playing against India, therefore their gravitas has come down globally. Vineet.
You're absolutely right. Sunil, Yashkalra, Taus, always a pleasure having you guys. Thank you so much for that fun that we had in the last half an hour at the expense of Pakistan. Thank you so much. All right, we take a short break on that note. We'll be right back.
सस्ते वाले दाल मसाले स्वाद हुआ बेकार